used to it, you know, gotta have thick skin. But this can be really harmful for your mental health. So just be aware that people are going to give feedback, but because they're behind a computer screen, they suddenly forget their tact and they become, you know, sort of gangsters of the internet with no humanity or human ability. So just, you know, ignore them, allow them, you know, but yeah, just be prepared for this might happen. This is just a chart of my podcast growth over the past like 19 months. And I kind of want to sort of, I guess, almost conclude with it takes time. Look at the beginning, right, where it says September the 3rd. That was me. That was my mum. That was me on incognito mode. Here's my sister. Here's my mate. It was me, you know, trying to get the listens up. And now you can see the difference, right? And this is not fully up to date, but you can see the difference. But look at the months. Look at the years. It takes time. But I promise you, now you have the time to build a brand. So get on it, because you won't face a time like this again. You know, we always say, oh, I ain't got enough time. I'm too busy. You sure as hell got enough time now, you know? 2 more weeks of lockdown, I think. And when Bojo's back, could be more. And we know we're going to be on some form of lock or distance for a while. So you really have time. Don't leave it for 2 or 3 weeks. Do it now. It's Saturday night. You don't have to do it now, you know, but do it now. I also offer this, which is actually how I've got probably about 30% of my investors are well, they're all passive, but they are passive, but they're interested in property. So, you know, they see the growth from 0 to 15 properties. They see the mistakes, the challenges, the everything. And a lot of people said, I want to learn from you. And I was like, well, I don't really want to teach. You know, I do occasionally, but I was like, I don't really want to do that. Why don't you invest in me, earn some money? So you're earning money and you're learning. And the learning is the key part. People do it for the learning. This is something that you could offer once you've built a brand and people are like, hey, I want to learn. I want to come on site. I want to see what you're doing. I want to ask you tons of questions and give nothing in return. This is how you can make that work, right? And really, and actually a lot of the people, well, everyone who's investing with me is making strides in their property business. And it's incredible to see this, but this would not be possible. 30% or so of that 600 grand would not be possible if I didn't have a brand and I didn't have people wanting to learn from me and go through my mistakes with me. So if you want to know about this, give me a shout, tejinvest.com. But it's another thing to add to your brand. I have a guide, 18 pages, 45 minutes of video content on how to start and market a podcast. Everyone wants to have a podcast. This guide may also show you why you don't want to have one because of some of the work involved. So I think it's doing its job if it's done either, really. So go to my website, tejtalks.com/ebooks, check it out. There's a few people on there who've started their own podcast with it. It is, you know, you could pay thousands for a course, or you can go get the guide and everything's in there. I'm also writing a real book, but that's not yet. So yeah, Josh, that brings me to the end of my presentation. I put my contact details on here. So yeah, any questions?
Yeah, perfect. You know, that was really fantastic talk. Got a couple of questions. Yeah, fire over. Do you use TikTok for property?
So I actually enjoy dancing. I used to professionally dance, so I have got a TikTok recently, and I've probably put 4 or 5 like pure property videos on. I am gonna use it for property stuff because, well, one, it's different. Everyone is dancing, so if you put on some different shit, potentially get some traction. But I am also gonna do some dances and put them on there just to, why not? It's what the platform's for, and do some other funky stuff. It can be used for property. It can be quite daunting, but there's a lot of non-song stuff. There's a lot of like voiceovers, and you can just put videos on it. You can literally just put this video on it. So I would say, because Gary Vee loves it as well, and he is very smart on these things, get an account and just put your videos on it for now. And if you're confident enough, just do some funky dancing and shit.
Yeah, solid advice. Just do some funky dancing and shit.
What can I say?
So the next one was, how do you decide which groups to post in? You know, if you are property, should you focus on just property? How do you pick?
So if you're in property, I would suggest joining a few different groups. So joining like a normal business one, or like a BNI one, or something like that. Obviously being in every property group you can. And then maybe if you're a podcaster, being in a podcast group, etc. But within property, the answer is you'll learn over time. There'll be certain groups where you're like, yeah, I'm never posting in here because this is trash. Or there'll be certain groups where you're like, you know what? This group seems to be maybe newer people. So when I post in here, I'm going to write things less complex and show maybe easier things. But this group is like a lot of big experienced people. I'm going to post different stuff in there. And you kind of learn the vibes of each group. And then you eventually just, you're like, oh, that group is this, that group's this. And then, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. So in terms of when you've got a company, do you have a company page or a personal profile? How's the best way to decide which of those two to pick from?
So I have like a personal profile, so Tej Singh, which is me. And then I do have the Tej Talks podcast page. Things with pages, yeah, you can have more followers than like your friend's number, but the engagement from it is not the same. And as much as Facebook try, it just doesn't look and feel the same as Tej, the human, sort of speaking to you. And it never will unless they change it. So, I have it and it gets posted on sort of fairly often, but the real engagement, the contact and the investors come from my Tej Singh one. So, my business and personal brand are kind of all in one with Tej Talks and Tej Invest. So it's easy for me to just sort of have less things. If people have, I mean, this is a bigger question, a bigger answer, I guess. But if they have okay, let's say you have a personal brand and a business brand. Let's just say scenario, your page should be your business brand, Tej Properties Limited, and your other page should be your Hi, I'm Tej Singh.
Yep, perfect. So we've got one more, I think. So in terms of starting a podcast, how do people go about starting a podcast?
So the first thing is, because I can't answer the whole question, is to check out the podcast guide on my website. But the simple thing is you need a mic, you need software, you need headphones if you're going to be interviewing other people. And if you want to be on YouTube, you need an SLR or some good video kit. Really, the mic, the software is all you need technically, and a few bits of online things to have a podcast. But there's a lot more thought, there's a lot more planning, there's a lot more, should I even do one? Competitor research. Do you want to monetize it? How are you going to advertise it? Because podcasts don't have their own social media platform. You have to pull people to it from your brand. So should you build a brand first or at the same time? So I think there's a lot of considerations. The sort of physical aspect, I mean, some people may struggle with editing. You can outsource it. The physical aspect is straightforward, but actually getting listens, getting it to grow, being consistent, and the kind of marketing aspect is where the real meat of the how to do a podcast answer question comes into it.
Perfect. And so for our final question of the day, so do you recommend blogging, and if so, where?
Was that blogging or vlogging?
Blogging.
Sure. So, you know what? We're in a society or generation where no one has an attention span. Instagram limits normal videos to 60 seconds. You look at the stats of your YouTube and your podcast, it just drops over time naturally. And I mean, it just will. So because of that, are people going to read, long form posts? I mean, yeah, they are, especially if it's to do with figures or something complex or law. When it comes to, like, if you're a solicitor, you need to write stuff for many reasons. But in the day and age we're in, I would say, yes, write blogs for your website, like on your website, or use Medium. Medium.com is such a beautiful platform, but very difficult to get traction on unless you have a brand to draw people to it. But have a blog on your website, which, to be blunt, will end up functioning for search engine optimization. I'm not saying write it full of keywords like a troll, but just know that Google will love you for your organic, updated, good content, but humans may not. But if your website is being found more because of it, I mean, it's you're still winning. So, but also you could write blogs in your Facebook posts or in your groups, like as long as they're not crazy long. You got to look at some people's Facebook posts; they are like blogs. So mix it up. However, I'd probably say invest more your time and money into videos because they're just the most popular medium at the moment. And I don't know, I think they're a lot easier to do as well once you get the hang of it.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes complete sense. So thank you very much, Tej, for taking the time out to do this presentation. Again, very fantastic feedback, some great questions there. Thank you very much for your time.
No problem. Night, everyone.
See ya. Perfect. So everyone, we're going to wrap things up now. We're going to call it a day. It really has been a fantastic day. Over 12 hours of content back to back. We've almost very almost completely smashed the target, and we've still got one more day to go. So at the moment, as at the end of the day, 9:15 today, we've got £9,965.35 donated. And when you actually have gift aid on top of this, we're 11,650. So we really have kind of met the target, but Virgin says we're still almost there. So we need someone to give £35. Let's smash the target. We're going to kick things off tomorrow morning. I think we start tomorrow about 9:45. We're going to start tomorrow. We've got another great day, loads of great speakers, and I look forward to seeing you all there. Let's just see if I can quickly put the agenda up for tomorrow. Yeah, I think it's that one there. So I'm just going to pop the agenda up right there. Everyone take a look at that. We've got another fantastic day with some fantastic speakers, a lot of cash flowing strategies, making £10,000 a month. That's what Jamie York's going to be covering. So really do not miss out on tomorrow. It's supposed to be Sunday, the day of rest, but this is just going to be just as action packed as all the other days. Thank you very much. bit.ly/help the NHS. Let's raise some money and keep on smashing that target. Cheers, guys.